Begin the regular meeting. It's at 6 o'clock, so the regular meeting is now started. Since we've already done the pledge of allegiance and roll call, we're going to go ahead and move on to council presentations. The first up is the community center complex update. Mr. Dobbins, I'm assuming that's
Yes.
your.
Correct. Mayor Rios, council members, we come before you every 2 months and provide a progress report on the community center project. So tonight we've got Luis Flores of Harrison Associates, Ron of Auto Construction, along with Kim. So they're going to step us through a bit of a slide deck. Feel free to ask questions at the end. Go for it, Luis.
Good evening, Mayor Rios, City Council members. So I'm Luis Flores, Harrison Associates Construction Manager, Owner Representative, and I'm here with Kim Syson and Ron Cheshire of Auto Construction, and we're going to provide you with a progress update on the construction project, the Dennis and Janice Caprera Community Center Complex. So just a brief overview of what we'll be going through today, general construction progress update, an update on the schedule, finances, an update on our involvement with the community. And then we'll go over next steps in the construction project. And lastly, we'll conclude with just any questions you might have. Turn it over to Ron. Give you an update on construction.
Again, construction update construction began on June 6th of 2024. Milestones completed to this date are underground utilities, storm sewer water, exterior rough carpentry, rough insulation is in progress, exterior finishes are in progress. Then we have offsite curb and gutter, and then offsite sidewalk work is also in progress. As you can see, we have a couple photos here for the aerials. Again, as the framing got completed and the parking lot is taking shape. And then a field trip around the project. We're currently performing waterproofing activities. So each one of the elevations you see in blue is going to take the EFS product. And the sections shown in brown are going to be the HPL panels. Big windows, curtain wall systems. And then upcoming milestones, again, rough mechanical, electrical, plumbing are currently underway. Building weather tight, again, drying, looking for June 31st. Landscape, substantial completion, looking at July. Then permanent power, October 27th. Substantial completion, slated for November 17th. Potential challenges and risks, again, weather is always an impact for projects. We do have plans to mitigate it, working to get the road in quickly. We have plastic as needed so that we can continue to move forward with our rough and our drywall or insulation activities. And then again, the roofing is going on now. Supply chain, long lead items, again, working early with our teammates to make sure that we get submittals and procurement underway quickly so that we can get those items here. And then again, PG&E permanent power. As our equipment arrives, we're able to trigger them to come out and start performing their work. So working closely with them to try to continue to improve any dates that we can.
All right, and now just an update on the overall budget of the project. So as you see up on the slide, I itemized the original budget, broke it down by design and pre-construction. That's about $7.7 million. Hard costs, 18.7. Soft costs and inspection costs, a little over 2 million. And so as you can see, expenses to date were at about 12.6 million. And so we've utilized about 45% of the overall project budget. This overall budget factors in from the planning stages of the project. So back when Swinnerton was involved, Group 4, EMC planning. So it's all of the historical costs to date. And then a general update on the overall funding for the project. So again, on the left, you could see the different funding sources for the project, the amounts contributed by each of the different grants, loans, the capital campaign contribution, and then the local measure X tax. And then the column in the middle shows you the amount of funding that's been received to date. And then on the far right, the amount that's pending. And so there's about $7.1 million that are still pending. Some of the grants are on a reimbursement basis. So every quarter and every month, I work closely with Carmen to go after the different project monies based on the amount of progress completed to date. Again, just a brief overview of the project management services that I provide on behalf of Harrison Associates for the city. So again, we provide the web-based management system for the project. So document control, where we store all of the project plans, RFIs, submittals, payment applications, and distribute different project documents to the different team members and project stakeholders. I work with the city team and the auto construction team, WRNS, to provide the weekly internal coordination meetings. I manage and track all of the project expenses and project funding. So that's the two previous slides that you saw. That's where we're at right now. And then I review and certify city consultant project invoices. So these would be special inspection invoices, and then other various consulting invoices like for leaf. Review and provide daily, monthly, and quarterly progress reports for the city, and then as required for various grants as well. Construction management front. So again, I work with the city, WRNS, the design team, auto, to meet weekly to review project milestones, review action items, review the progress of the project, the schedule. And then I distribute and document the meeting minutes and the action items. I review potential project change orders so that we've received 18 PCOs to date that I've been working with Auto to process. Manage RFIs and submittals for contract conformance. So today we've processed 64 RFIs, 205 submittals. And then again, working closely with Auto, I coordinate and schedule inspections as needed. So to date, we have 19 building inspections, 40 special inspections, and for special inspections and material testing, site civil inspections, and then I also work closely with Fire Chief Jason on the underground fire inspections and also all the forthcoming fire-related inspections. Review and certify project monthly progress payment applications from Auto Construction, and then monitor the project schedule and labor compliance.
All right, so just to kind of touch on some of the community engagement that we've had to date with the Gonzales community. We've had the privilege of working with the GYC. We like to consider ourselves third-year members of the GYC. So it's been great to work with them since the inception of this project. We actually boast about how amazing your GYC is to everybody we meet and how exciting it is to have them along with us every step of the way through programming and planning. And they've come, and you can see they've done some site visits down at the photos on the bottom. And we recently had a sit test, so they're able to look at the furniture, feel the furniture, and be part of that contribution to their space. In addition, we are working with the high school. We recently participated in the career day. So we have a couple of photos there at the top for some local students who came and were able to speak to some of our folks about just a career in the industry, and also talk about if they want to get into any of the trades after high school and just kind of what those opportunities can be afforded. And part of our engagement with the community is to continue offering those site visits for local students to engage them in the construction industry. So we will be doing that throughout the process and having them come visit the site till we break, actually not break ground, till we cut that ribbon. One of the really exciting things that we did this summer is we had 2 local interns. The first was Annie, who most of you might recognize as she was a city intern the prior summer. So we were very excited to have her come on. She was our project engineer intern, a local graduate from Greenfield High School, going into her senior year at Berkeley, pursuing her degree in civil engineering. So she was able to come and work with us all summer. She engaged with all of our civil site contractors. So it was a great timing for her. Also that she was able to come in on the city side for one summer and then on the construction side for her next internship. So we were very blessed to have her. In addition, we had Nicholas Marchi, who was the CM intern, and he worked closely with Luis on the construction management side for Harrison Associates, and he's also a local graduate of Salinas High School. He is also in his senior year at University of California in LA, and he also is pursuing his degree in civil engineering. So having both of them on site every day and being able to participate in everything that we do so they can see the process was great.
We'll conclude by giving you a little insight into the next project milestone. Ron touched on it earlier. So similar to the top out ceremony that some of you were able to attend, the next milestone is going to be building dry-in when the building is weather tight. And so we'll work closely with Auto to plan another small gathering for project stakeholders, city council, city members to celebrate the next milestone. We'll lastly end with a time lapse to show you all of the construction progress to date.
Great. Thanks, Luis, Kim, and Ron. And I just want to mention, I guess a couple things. One is a really great team out there. It's amazing when I go out to the site and how busy it is and how many subcontractors there are that auto construction is managing. So anyway, just I don't know if the council has comments or questions, but that concludes our presentation.
So the date is based on when the switchgear arrives. So we'll have to get our switchgear installed first, get it inspected by PG&E, and after they clear us for construction, then they're able to schedule us. So it's triggered by the delivery of the switchgear. 2000 amp. Yeah, it has a 55-week lead time.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, move on to the agenda. Obviously, the public not on the agenda. The public is just the council to review the package, the accepted not in the agenda. Council will listen to all the no comment, take no action.
Yeah, Roman Barber, 123 Second Street, Gonzales. Hey, I'm a little ticked at the Gonzales Police Department. As you know, I'm gonna do a lawsuit against the police department in the city of Gonzales. The other day, after a city council meeting, they went after the Martinez's out here. And the following day, they thought I was recording or something. The police department called me the following day and asked me if I had video. I told them on the phone, I don't have video. My phone did not work and take video. So They didn't believe anything I said. And if I did have video, I would give it to the Martinez or even any TV station that wanted it, but I didn't have any video. So the police department put a search warrant on my house. I have cameras around my house. My nephew lives next door to me. He has cameras around the house. There was a police officer hiding in one corner, another police officer hiding in another corner. The police officer rings the doorbell. After he rings the doorbell, he hides around the corner. So what is that? And then they hide their police cars around the corner. Next to my cousin, Mary Jesse's house, that's on 2nd and Belden Street. And she's seeing the whole thing. The other cars are hiding on the other side of the corner next to my rental house on the other corner. So they took pictures of that. So basically, they came into my house. So I called my Lupe to come from school to come into my house, and she recorded everything when the police officers came into the house. They made us sit in the living room with a guard while the other 2 officers went in and searched the house. So the next day I contacted my lawyers, went to over there. They told me, why do they want your cell phone? So I told them they're after the Martinez's or something. They don't believe anything I said. So basically they told me that I had a good lawsuit against the city. So they told me the reasons why. They put it all in front of me why. And he also asked me if I know anybody else is having issues with the police department, so we could do a suit against the city together. So if you know anybody else is having problems with the police department, we could join this lawsuit together. But this is ridiculous. If anybody wants to see the search warrant, I have a search warrant here where they search. These are my lawyers right here. I actually went to 3 different lawyers, and what they did, they got my phone. They go, it doesn't take that long to search your phone. So they searched my phone, my old phone. They said it took 10 minutes. And they still got my phone. Thank you.
Okay, Henry Martinez. All this for a firework. They're dropping the cases in court for lack of evidence, insufficient evidence. He charges my son obstruction like he charged me and arrest me, obstructed of just not giving him the videotape. When we asked Mary, we told the city, we told his officers, we want an independent investigator. We don't want in-house investigation. I told the sergeant, why are you investigating? We asked for an independent auditor to come and look at it. Why is he trying to cover up evidence? Why is he not called a private investigator to investigate them? And Roman, the reason why they don't park cars in front of the house, they have TV cameras in front of their cars and they don't want to be recorded. And a woman was pushed on the ground. A white woman was pushed to the ground by Mexicans, officers, Hispanic officers. A white male was shoved against the car. A white male by 4 Mexican officers. Chokehold against the wall. I feel sorry for the person's car who got damaged because when they choked my son, choked them, they didn't do George Floyd law. All the officers, including the chief, just stood there and watched my son. When I ran in here, they're beating up my family. None of you guys ran out there and stopped them from choking them. I saw when I ran out the door, the officer choking him, bending him backwards when he had the back problems. No one rushed to save him, including the chief. The only person that saved him was my grandkid. Then they pound him against the wall, the car, rough. Then they pound him against the wall and choked him like this against the wall. It does not say that in your reports, all the choking. Why do you fabricate things? And second of all, he's not wearing a body cam. He is not allowed near an arrest as long as he's not wearing that body cam. Then his private cell phone, he's going to tell us that we cannot access what he was texting that night here at the meeting to the officer in the back or to the other officer setting up the ambush that he parked the cars way behind the side of the medical building again, so we won't get the car cam video. We want your phone. You better not tell it's private. No fireworks.
Ruben Zarita, quick background. I'm a water distribution operator, grade 5, water treatment, grade 4, cross connection specialist, wastewater certified, former teacher, water classes at Gavilan College, chief water and sewer operator, supervisor for the state of California, and a certified pump and operator inspector for Cal Water. Received a letter from City Gonzales on 11/8 about the coliform violation, 2 coliform positives in one instance. It's the supervisor's lead manager's responsibility to ensure that the State Water Resource Control Board regulations are followed. A competent, experienced, educated supervisor should not only know the regulations, but capable of following the water regulations. By not complying to common knowledge of the regulations, they're putting the public at risk and the city. The most common cause of a positive coliform result is lack of chlorine residual caused by lack of preventive maintenance on the chlorine pump and the injectors. This is common knowledge in the industry. Wells should not be allowed to sit idle more than 48 hours to ensure freshness. The term superchlorination should not be used in this water distribution application without proper system isolation, contact time, sampling, flushing, and dechlorination. Superchlorination is above 50 milligrams per liter, and all AWWA standards for disinfection rules and regulations must be followed. An experienced and competent supervisor is responsible to ensure that chlorine residual never goes below 0.2 milligrams per liter. The fact that 3 sample sites were not accessible is the lead supervisor manager's responsibility. The sample assessment must be completed by a qualified, experienced supervisor to avoid future violations. Chlorine residuals must be recorded on a daily log. Someone must be accountable for chlorine maintenance. Another violation will cost the city huge amounts of money from extensive sampling, labor, flushing, fines, not to mention the safety of the citizens. Why was the letter sent 2 months later? Chlorine injecting at a well pump is considered water treatment technically. A distribution operator is qualified to sample, but not operate or turn a treated pump on and off. T certification is required. Every well chlorine residual must be taken and recorded daily to ensure safe drinking water. It is the supervisor manager's responsibility to make sure operators are well qualified or certified before a violation occurs. If you wish to contact me to discuss preparation and training, feel free to contact me. And thanks for the fireworks meeting.
So, my name is Henry Martinez III. I am back from jail and I felt like a man in there. Thank you, Chief. And I've been in it for 3 days and I'm trying to get back used to eating again. My body's keep refusing, but I take it slow, eat my burritos like usual. And now I'm back. It's been hectic for me when I got taken away. And I had muscle damage from Officer Perez. They had my dad in an illegal chokehold like my grandpa said. And somebody had to stop it because my dad is injured because he had his back brace on. Because without his back brace, he couldn't walk. So I had to pull the officer off, and they're trying to get me with attempted murder. And I get that part, but I had to do what's right for my family. Because I saw my mom get pushed down. The fire chief was there defending my mom. Thank you for that. And when I was in jail, and in bed, I had a dream. Jesus, Zeus, Satan, and God was there telling me, you did the right thing. Nobody ever did that in the past years. And I had to do what's right. And I'm back. I have court tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's my first time ever getting in trouble like this. And I'm here. Anybody who ever messes with my family again, we will have to sue. And I know, Chief, you're mad. I see a bright red face on you. And I know you have an officer in the back over there ready to take me again. I know that. And I know your setups already. When I looked at you, you were texting on your phone, ready to pick up my dad. And I was wrong. And you got to show the paper fiscally of the warrant. And you didn't do that. So right now, we have technical issues because my mom and dad is trying to say something. And you're not allowing them. So I'm saying this right now. If any officer is trying to mess with me again, it would be round 3. I'm sick of tired of you guys hating on my family for 10 years. I got taken away at 7 years old because of you guys. And I'm glad I'm back. Now I'm afraid that while I'm trying to go out to get a La Chata on the other side of town.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Yes.
Anyone else? Okay, so I guess no one's coming to the podium. Okay. Yeah. All right. Mike, so do we have anyone in Zoom?
Yes, we have Henry Martinez on Zoom.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hello?
Mr. Martinez, you're on. We can hear you.
All right. Henry Martinez, 116 10th Street. You guys knew this was coming. I warned you 2 weeks ago about this exactly same thing, and this mess happened right on your guys' watch. The city attorney, you were out there, you witnessed that whole thing. The city manager, I'm holding you personally accountable because I tried calling you numerous times and you didn't answer at all. Mary knows. The police chief, I warned him straight out that this was going to happen. He literally caused this whole thing. My son is, being charged attempted murder when I got 4 officers beating on him. You guys are crazy. And guess what? They set his bail at $1 million, and I got no problem paying that to get him out. And as you could tell, he was out. So guess what? I'm coming now. This city's going to pay for what they did. And we're going to take this all the way. You can look all you want, Miller. Wise, they all you and your friends. You can all look all directions you want. I don't know how you guys can let a kid like that get beat by officers. You guys have kids. I bet you guys would be saying the same thing if this happened to you guys. Jason, I totally appreciate what you did for my wife, and you stood up for her, even though Wise over here was doing his shenanigans and kicking people around, pushing people. You are a man. My son is a man as of today because he stood up for me and my wife. And guess what? So the city knows I now have a back brace that I got to wear every single day because of these officers. So guess what? I'm coming. And none of you guys are going to like this. But you know what? Wise, you're a coward. You are a straight coward. I could say other words, but you know what? I got more respect for the council. So you know what? Your last chief lost his job. You're next. And trust me, I've been talking with all the other people that have been wronged by the city, and we're all coming with a lawsuit. And we'll be joining everybody else that's going to be joining this fiasco of a mess. So get ready, because here I come.
Done, sir? Sounds like he's done. Thank you. Anyone else? Marisol?
No comments via Zoom.
Thank you. Mary, any comments?
No comments via email.
Comment that I was not surprised, but it was like, wow, that much for right of ways for the wastewater treatment facility.
Right.
Woo. But it is what it is, and we gotta get that done, so I appreciate that, and thank you for clearly defining who in the pot was getting it for the right of way. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Made it very clear for me. All right, council, any discussions, concerns, items you'd like to
Yes.
have? Oh,
I'd like to pull item number 14, please.
number 14.
And I'd like to pull item 15 for
Item 14,
clarification.
15.
Uh-huh.
Ms. Worthy?
No,
Okay,
I was gonna do 14, but Maria asked 14.
okay, so we'll start with Ms.
Thank
Orozco.
you.
Item 14.
On item number 14, I recall a while back when we would approve the grants, we used to have an explanation of what the different groups were being funded for and what were some of the activities that they were going to be doing. So I don't, is there somewhere on the website that we can, go to see what they're going to be, some of the activities they're going to be doing?
Yeah, it seems like the spreadsheet that is attached got omitted.
Okay.
But I can send that over to all of you so that you see the description of each one of them, because we do have it in a spreadsheet that the subcommittee and then the Measure K committee got to see the activities that they're being funded for and what they were asking them for.
Yeah, I just basically would like to know how we are, how residents can call for assistance for the Salvation Army's Utility Assistance Program and how that will work and how will folks be able to apply for funds if they need assistance with their utility bills. So that was one of the questions I had, and just curious to see how that will work. And I noticed there were some new programs that were funding, so just curious to see what they.
Some of them are actually here and you're asking about the utility assistance. So I don't know if the Salvation Army wants to actually answer the question now, if the council allows for that.
I don't know.
Mayor?
That's
Yeah.
just
that
for
okay?
clarification purposes.
That helps clarify.
Yes.
Definitely.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Romero. I'm an officer of the Salvation Army, and we run utility assistance with you guys grant. So whatever amount you guys give us, our headquarters give us the same amount for this city. And this is, majority is seniors, low income, or seniors who's living with their families and they pay some of the utilities. So that's the way that we work. The maximum, we go to 300. And we cannot help it if it's more than 300, but that's a lower, we can help it. That's the way we work.
Okay,
Even
thank
for the water as well. And rental. Sometimes you guys we don't apply for rental, but there's a need and we go for rental as well.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
And I'll also provide the breakdown of the different requests so that you'll all see what activities were funded through the Measure K.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Really? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I just kind of wanted everybody to see that was where I was at too. Was I wanted, because I know in the past, we have allowed the council to see what each of the grants were. So that was where I was. Because it's hard to approve if you don't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Liz, you had some initial comments?
Yeah, I just, real quick, Carmen, a clarification. Excuse me?
Should have turned it on.
Just clarification now, this program with the Salvation Army is separate than what the city is administering?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Yes, you're referring to our water rebates. It's completely separate.
Right,
Yeah.
because we had a section in that besides the senior rebate program, we also had the program for the low income as well.
Correct.
And we said that the two would not, you could not get both. You could get
Right,
one or the
right,
other.
for the
But then
city,
this is a
correct.
separate program.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Good. And then mine is number 15, and that's with regards to the $16,000 grant the city received for the Kid Power program. Out of curiosity, what is the cost of the Kid Power program on an annual basis? You have a ballpark figure?
I don't have a ballpark just for the specific program because it falls currently under the after school and recreation. And so we can get that cost for you, but it's upward of, I mean, including staff time and everything, it's upward of 150 or so.
That's ballpark enough.
Yeah, because again, it includes all materials, but do recall that there is a small cost to parents.
Mhm.
It's not significant. I mean, you can, as a parent, you can say anything is significant, but it really doesn't offset the cost of the program itself. So small grants like these are very helpful. Not only will it introduce new activities, specifically STEM activities to the after school program, but it also has a little bit of funding for the actual staff time. So
Thank you for clarifying. With that, Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda as stated.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda approved. Moving on to the regular agenda items. And I have been looking at this over and over, and I'm sorry, I've got it highlighted. I still can't read it. Ms. Silva, would you be so kind as to read that regular agenda item number 1 there?
You mean item 16?
Item 16, yeah.
Consider approval of resolution number 2024-67, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gonzales approving a conveyance agreement and an installment purchase contract, making certain determinations relating thereto and authorizing certain other actions in connection therewith. And that's the end.
Thank you.
There's no period, but I'm gonna put it in.
Thank you. Staff report. It was a little confusing. I
Yeah,
figured that way.
have no idea what
with
I
our
just
city
said.
manager.
Mayor, council members. So good evening. Yes, approval of the resolution before you will authorize staff and our financial consultants to execute several agreements and documents for an interim loan needed for construction of the industrial wastewater system. So in July, the city, after a several year effort, secured a $29 million low interest loan from the State Water Resource Control Board for construction of the industrial wastewater system. This project will be constructed under 2 contracts, the pipeline contract, which is underway. The contract has been out there in the field for the last 2 weeks, and then we will issue the treatment facility for bid in January. The funding agreement with the Water Board requires the city to submit for reimbursement after costs are incurred. Essentially, the city's mandated to pay contractors within 30 days of approval of their invoice. And then we submit a reimbursement request, and that will take 3 to 5 months to receive reimbursement. So basically, this construction loan is to fund that gap. And then it's also important to mention that there's actually a dry period with the State Water Board from April, May, June of each year. They close the books. They don't process reimbursement until the beginning of the next fiscal year. So we have a very detailed cash flow for both contracts, and we can see, depending on how many months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, we're going to have a funding gap or funding need of between $6 million and $7.5 million while we wait for reimbursement. And with that, I'm joined with Eric Scriven of NHA Advisors, and he's going to step through a slide deck. And the slide deck is in your packet.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I think Patrick covered a couple of the slides right off the bat. This is really a working capital loan. You receive the funds, you will receive the funds when you submit reimbursements. We've seen that the state really is a slow payer for some of these reimbursements, as Patrick mentioned. That period can be 2 to 3 months normally, or 1 to 2 or 3 months normally, but during that dry period, it can be as much as 5 months from experience from other entities that are receiving these SRF funds and reimbursements. So to go through the process, we did calculate based off of the cash flows. As Patrick said, it was a $6 to $7.5 million number. Just to be safe, we wanted to size that up a little bit so there's no being caught short, if you will. So it's a $10 million number that we actually had the placement agent, and they have a contract here for approval as well, went out to many banks to secure the best bid. And I'm just going to go straight to page 3. The revolving loan, which is really a line of credit, was determined to be the best option. Basically allows the city to draw down on it, but then to repay it when you get reimbursements from the state resources board. Then you're not paying interest when you pay it down. So it's a pretty efficient financing means. Limits the city's interest costs during the period of time that you're utilizing this loan. We received 5 bids from the interested banks out there. You know, there's commercial banks that want to underwrite this type of a loan. We got a really good bid. We're very happy with the bid we got from Banner Bank. Their bid was a fixed rate, and that was fortuitous given the recent increases in rates of 4.34%. So we calculate that based on the cash flow, which is fluid, we don't know how the monies are gonna get drawn down. The interest cost could be approximately $330,000. So it's really dependent on how the funds are drawn down and how fast the reimbursements come back so that we can pay down the line of credit. The issuance costs for putting the deal together are $132,000 between our services, the bond counsel, as well as the placement agent. And there was some costs with respect to the bank committing to their loan as well. I won't go through all 4 of the documents, but there are 4 documents. This is a pretty straightforward structure. It's typical for these types of loans. It's they essentially there's a leaseback structure where then you create a cash flow that then can be utilized to repay the loan. And that's in essence what these documents do. And then the placement agent agreement, which is it's for Hilltop Securities, and they did an excellent job when they put together the bid package, but also as we've been wrapping up the loan and answering questions on credit. With that, I guess we have the schedule. We're hoping to, council approves this evening. We hope to close the loan next week, next Tuesday. And, you know, you have the finance team here and your staff, Patrick primarily, but also Carmen and others. Luis were instrumental in just making sure we had all the information that was needed to secure the loan. With that, glad to answer questions.
Council, any questions? No? Okay. No
So-
questions, sir.
Mayor, I'd like to add to that, the SRF agreement allows us to claim costs incurred as of January 1st of this year. So we are working through our first reimbursement request with SRF, and we're having to sign whatever, make sure they have all the documents that have been signed by City Manager Carmen and other things. So we are working through our first, and I believe it's a little over $100,000. We have our first progress payment from the contractor, and that's to the tune of $85,000. So just, you know, as we work through this initial SRF reimbursement, will be continuing to make monthly claims based against the contractor's pay request. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and open this item up to the public. Anyone from the public wishing to comment on this item may do so at this time. No one rush to the podium, I see. Marisol, do we have any comments via Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Thank you. Mary, do we have any comments via email?
No comments via email.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and close the public comment period and bring it back to council for any council discussion. And if there isn't any council discussion, then
I'm-
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move we approve resolution 2024-67.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I did comment to Carmen that next time, it seems like pretty ambiguous what you're stating in that first statement. If you just put on there, I think, and I'm not asking this for the general public, processing of loan paperwork for wastewater treatment facilities upgrade. I think that would have cleared up the whole with and for that. And so, sorry, I'm kind of a simpleton and I like it straightforward.
Perfect.
Okay, that's all my only comments there. Item 17, moving on, is, oops, let me grab my other peepers here. I can get this one, I think. Presentation on the final draft Salinas Valley Safe Routes to School Plan. I'm assuming this is Mr. Dobbins again.
Correct. Mayor,
Staff report?
council members, as I think the council is aware, there's been a effort over the last 3 years looking at the different public schools in the 4 cities in the South Valley regarding pedestrian safety improvements. And there was a steering committee here in Gonzales. Amelia Conlon of TAMSI is here to take us through the rest of the slide deck, and she's been involved all along the way.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Amelia Conlon. I'm a senior transportation planner with the Transportation Agency for Monterey County, here to provide a final presentation on the draft Salinas Valley Safe Routes to Schools plan. We can go to the next. So this has been, as Patrick said, a 3-year planning process, and it's really been a partnership between TAMSI, the 4 Salinas Valley cities, the Monterey County Health Department, the 5 school districts, and Ecology Action. This plan has been funded through a Caltrans Sustainable Communities Transportation Planning Grant, as well as local Measure X matching funds. And it included a participatory budgeting process that I know you've had a few presentations on this year to conduct a community election to identify the highest priority projects, which TAMSI was able to fund through local funds. Next slide. So overall, the big goals of the Safe Routes to Schools plan are to identify projects and programs to make it easier and safer for students and families to walk and bike to school. And if we can accomplish this, we can help to reduce the traffic congestion that we see around every school in the Salinas Valley. We can also help to build a little bit of exercise into students' daily routines, improve health. And another big goal of this planning process is to make the cities more competitive for grant funds. It's really helpful to have gone through the process to ask for community feedback, to develop a plan, to have it adopted by the council. And that helps make Gonzales more competitive when you go out to apply for grant funding. Next. So we started off this project in spring of 2022, and we started outreaching Gonzales in fall of 2022 with walking audits at each of the school sites to observe the morning traffic around each of the schools, have a conversation with school staff and parents about their biggest safety concerns. We conducted parent presentations at parent meetings to hear from parents about safety issues. We conducted presentations to the youth council to get their feedback, and turned all of that input into a list of locations that could use improvements, and worked with a consultant, Alta Planning and Design, to develop a list of recommendations for each of those locations. Those recommendations were shared back with school sites to get parent feedback, and we demonstrated one of those recommendations in a pilot project, which took place last year on 5th Street. And also developed a steering committee in Gonzales to lead a participatory budgeting process for the community to be able to vote on the highest priority projects. So we're here at the end of that 3-year process with the draft plan and looking for your feedback on the draft plan tonight. Next slide. So here's a summary of the outreach that was conducted in Gonzales. Provided 6 presentations at parent meetings to get feedback from parents and school staff. We gave 2 presentations to the youth council. We received 45 responses to a parent survey for Gonzales parents, 170 responses on the Front Street pilot project, and nearly 500 community votes during the participatory budgeting process. So this plan includes really high-level goals for the future of safe routes to schools in the Salinas Valley. It includes a list of high-priority corridors within Gonzales. Many of the grant applications favor really big projects. So projects that would likely cover an entire corridor rather than just an intersection or a smaller area. And so we've identified the streets in Gonzales that would be the best candidates for future improvements. We also have citywide corridor recommendations for things like multi-use paths, bike facilities, lighting, and new sidewalks. And there are recommendations specific to each of the 3 schools for infrastructure improvements and programs to encourage walking and biking. So this plan is really a tool for the city to use. It's not a mandate. It's not that only the highest priority corridors will receive improvements in the future. It's really something that the city can use to identify the projects that are the best fit for future grant funding opportunities. And it's also something that your public works staff can use when they're doing regular road maintenance, which is the most cost-effective way to implement these recommendations. If they involve things like striping new crosswalks or bike lanes, those things can be done easily when the city is repaving streets. We also have recommendations here for opportunities for quick build projects, which are projects that don't involve any concrete and just involve paint and posts. And that's something that's much less expensive and can be done as an interim measure to test something out or as a low-cost treatment while the city is pursuing funding for future permanent projects. And this is an example from the city of Austin. So this is a way to carve out a little more space for people who are walking, make people walking more visible to drivers. And this is something that can be done in a really low-cost way. And that concludes my presentation. I welcome any comments or questions that you have on the plan. This is an opportunity for you to make changes before we bring back the final plan to you early next year.
Council questions? If not, I'll open up to the public. Okay, doesn't look like you have any questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up to the public. Anyone wishing to comment on this, may do so at this time. And again, not seeing any onrush to the podium. I will go ahead and ask Marisol, do we have any comments via Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Thank you. Mary, any comments via email?
No comments via email.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and close the public comment period, bring it back to council discussion. What is it specifically you need? I see that you're asking if there's any changes, we should suggest those to you. And my feeling is if you know, we had a group of community people that kind of gave us their input, and I was okay with it then. I don't know if anybody's changed on that. And if
No.
not,
I think they went through a very extensive process and the public was, yeah,
Right.
very much involved, so.
So
I
just,
I think I have just
Go ahead.
one.
Go ahead.
I don't know if it's a comment, question. So with regards to our community center and the changes of how cars will be going onto that property now, and I know we used to have a crosswalk right in the middle of that property, so to speak. I looked at the list of improvements on the various streets, and I was okay with all that. But really, what I saw was that there's gonna be an enhanced intersection at Rincon and Fifth. Is that gonna happen? Because I know I had suggested that during the construction, but they said we couldn't do that, so I was a little confused when I read the report. But any improvement is gonna be good.
So, yes, the projects approved by the council when I came before you on this program in August is pedestrian improvements, yes, at the Fifth Street, Rincon Road intersection, and then also improvements along Fifth Street at the on and off ramps to US 101. That was approved. County staff is aware of that. I have a proposal to look at from a consultant to do a preliminary design of that. And then, yes, the pet activated crosswalk that was at the Gavilan Court Street or intersection to go onto what is now the community center site will actually be shifted to the east. And there'll be an MST bus stop also put in there. So that's part of the community center project, is relocating that pet activated crosswalk.
Okay, and I think the additional thing I saw on the report was a possibility of a roundabout right there, right before crossing over to the east side of the overpass.
And so what the steering committee recommendation was look at roundabouts at the on and off ramps. And 6 or 7 years ago,
Okay.
we did a pretty deep dive with a Caltrans Step 1 intersection control evaluation. And yes, at that point in time, 6 or 7 years ago, if I recall, the hard cost only was, I don't know, $6.5 million. And, you know, yet, yes, we've continued to engage Caltrans planning staff. What can we do? What can we do? And I know they submitted for a grant to go really the next step, project initiation document, and that went to headquarters. And I know I reached out to Caltrans staff about 6 weeks ago on that, and no update from them.
Okay. Laying around. I mean, I like the idea that what you presented about when Public Works is doing their regular preventive maintenance, that they should maybe also consider doing this other stuff, because I think one of the things that we approved recently was the painting of the corners to be red on the curbs, so it would prevent people from parking where they shouldn't be parking to obstruct the view of the drivers. So I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
So really, there's no action that you need on this other than we're good with what you got.
Yes,
Okay.
agreed.
Thank
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. All right, moving on. I believe we have the Youth Council updates.
Hi, everyone. Not too much to update on, but as the construction team mentioned, we did have a sit test with all the furniture, and I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of the youth council enjoyed it. I know some furniture stayed there, so we could actually we plan to bring two chairs on the construction site, so we're working with that so we can actually see how it looked like inside. And I really appreciate the team. They're really amazing. They never fail to wow me. I always feel welcomed with the team, and every time I visited the construction site like already 3 times, every single time I felt welcomed. It was truly amazing, and I am excited to go again. I think we scheduled it on December 5th, so we'd be doing that sit test actually inside, so it's such an honor to do that. But yeah, GYC is working on their projects right now. But we're doing pretty good so far.
Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you. Then we'll go ahead on and move on to committee reports. The first one is League of Cities. I have nothing, and Mr. Funk is not here for AMBAG, so we're down to MST.
I really don't have anything either. Our next meeting, we just had housekeeping things that we did at our last meeting. So, you know, mostly contracts with our maintenance department, you know, those types of things. Our next meeting is December 9th. So I'll report when I come back from that meeting next time. Thank you.
I was hoping that you might share with the council when the new routes for our community, is that
The
a map
MST circulator.
circulator, is that map in the works already?
Yeah, they put the map together. It won't take effect until January 2025. Am I correct with that?
You know, I was I know it's towards the end of this year. I need to reach out to Vince Dang at MST as to because they need to install the bus stop signs, and
Right.
there's a shelter at Meyer Park, so that's on MST to do. I think the contractor's still finishing the work in Soledad, so when they finish that work, they're gonna do
Come
all
back.
the striping and curb markings here in Gonzales concurrently with the work in Soledad.
Right. The hope is that we'll be able to implement everything by January of 2025. That's the hope. So what I'm going to do at my next meeting, and I actually will send an email to the proper people and ask them. I have the map, which I think, did I share that with you?
No.
Okay.
Could I get a
will
copy
share
of that?
Yes, I will get you a copy. In fact, I'll email it to you.
Great.
Yes, I do have that. I apologize.
Excuse me, I do believe that it's also going in the utility bills.
Oh,
So
it is gonna go
everybody.
to-
Oh,
yes,
are they gonna
yeah.
put the map in there? Okay, great.
So that
Great.
should hit your mailboxes shortly.
In
Great, 'cause
December.
I've been communicating with a number of folks, primarily Elvira Jimenez, I believe is her name, that she came to speak at the, one of the council meetings. Her concern is that, you know, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna be there, and I'll try to assure her that it's probably gonna be better than what she had before. Her biggest concern is that it's basically gonna stop and then it's gonna go around town once in a while, not as frequently as you told me. So when I shared with her the frequency of it, she's like, oh, really? That frequently? I said, that's frequently. Yep. Yep.
So we'll send the route, the flyer you sent, I'll send it to the entire council, and I know that's gonna be posted if it wasn't already on social media.
One that they sent me. I thought I forwarded it to you, but maybe I didn't.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah, the blue, white, blue one. Anyway, I'll send that out so that all of you have it, but yes, we've requested it go in the utility bills as well.
Great. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, moving on, oral communications from the city council. We'll start with Ms. Worthy on this.
The only thing that I have is my disappointment about Measure S. I do want to bring that up to our community for those of you that are watching. Because that measure did not pass, it put us in a quandary. And we're going to have to make some decisions next year when we do our new budget of what we can do and what we can't. That would have generated probably about $800,000 a year for us to focus on the fire department and some of our safety spots where I know a lot of people have been very concerned about our infrastructure, fixing of our roads and that sort of thing. We may not be able to do some of that because it didn't pass. So I just want people to be aware of the fact that this was a sales tax, wasn't a property tax. It's going to go somewhere else now. It's not going to go to us. So I don't want to be, you know, a downer, Debbie Downer or anything, but I think it's something that the community needs to understand, that we all need to work together so that we can get these things going. So that's the only thing that I have, and I apologize for being such a downer, but I think it's important for people to understand when they see that we may not be able to pay for certain things. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Silva.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just for, if there's any senior citizens in our community that are listening, I'm sure you're all out there in outer space there in the internet lands. Just a reminder that the forms are available at City Hall. And when you do come in to submit your application for the senior rebate on our utilities, please be sure you bring your ID. Otherwise you have to go back home, bring it back. But it's really simple. It takes just a couple of minutes. And I've tried to tell as many people as I could think of. I sat at my house one evening, just thinking about everybody that I know, what street, my mind goes up and down all the streets. Of course, I'm more familiar with this side of town. So anyhow, I hope the information is getting out there to everybody, and the sooner that you apply, the better. It is a first come, first serve type of program. I want to thank the city staff for the Hometown Heroes sign at Central Park. I know that it's been a long time coming. I was very honored to be able to be out there, and I was interviewed by KSBW. My mother was out there. Everybody who was out there, I think, was very pleased to see that many, when I think in the beginning we may not have expected even a dozen, but to see about 28 signs, and they're up there, and I have seen people stop to see them and respect them. So I think it was a very good thing. So thank you, Carmen, and everybody else. I received a call today from a resident who's concerned about the cars that are parked on the street, first of all, in the wrong direction. And sometimes there are trailers that are parked on the street, some motorhomes on properties, etc., and on front lawns. And mostly it's on this side of town because the person lives on this side of town, but I know that there's some on the other side as well. So if we can, I know we don't have a specified code enforcement officer, but if our officers can just kind of, see when people are parked a little bit too long. I know that they do that already, but this particular resident was quite concerned. More concerned about the catering trucks that are parked along Alta Street between 4th and 3rd. I thought we had told them to park in the back of the businesses rather than on Alta Street. And what it does is it reduces parking spaces for people who are going to go to the pizza place or to the Chinese food, to Lucky Bamboo. Those were the concerns of that resident who called me this afternoon. And also, for our residents, there is a food box giveaway that is happening with Líderes Campesinas. And I gave the information to Carmen. I think she put it out, but it'll be a once a month giveaway. I believe it's on the second Wednesday of the month at about 4 p.m. at Central Park. And that will go on for the next 2 or 3 months. If you have questions, please contact City Hall for more information. And other than that, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Be safe.
All right, Ms. Orozco.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to echo Lorraine's comments regarding Measure S. You're much kinder than I've been. I basically tell people, okay, well, which services do you want us to cut? Give me the list because, unfortunately, we had great plans for the city and for some of the work that needed to be done. And I just also want to take this time to thank the staff for all that you do. Our police department, our fire department, public works, the city staff. We see them out there every day and it's a challenge, especially when, our funding is at jeopardy, but they continue to do all the great things to make our cities safe and provide all the services for our residents. I also was there during the distribution of the vegetable boxes that were being given out. And one of the things that I noticed is that because it's later during the day, many of our families are able to have better access to some of these boxes that are being offered. Some of our families that are working in the fields are able to have access to those boxes, and it really makes a difference. There's also going to be a vacancy, or there is a current vacancy on the cemetery board. I understand for those that are interested in serving or on the board should contact Supervisor Lopez for additional information. I think he's probably going to make an announcement soon, but definitely that would be a good job for some. It's a volunteer, and I think Liz used to serve on the cemetery board, but they are going to be in need of another member. And also wanted to wish everyone also a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels if you're traveling, because traffic is going to be bad. Thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you. Just a couple quick comments. Carmen and I had the opportunity to meet with the South County cities along with Supervisor Lopez, and we had a amazing presentation by, and I don't remember, Elsa Jimenez, the Director of Public Health. Great presentation. I didn't realize they did so much. It's a $304 million budget she sits on, and all the things they do, I'm surprised they can do it with that little bit of money, because they do almost everything from checking catering trucks, wastewater treatment. I mean, you name it, they do it, they check it. We did bring up to her the concern the citizens have in this community about the stench on the northeast side of town. So she was going to look into that. So hopefully there's a solution there. Supervisor Lopez kind of mentioned that he's encouraging the business to consider moving to Fat City. Because as you know, there is already a similar plant up at Fat City, and I don't think I've heard one complaint about that particular plant, which makes all the sense. I don't think the landfill really minds the stink. Hey, they're competing. But, obviously there is a lot of work going on in Fat City. If you haven't taken a ride up to, I can't see, but I've heard that they're just planting grapes galore out there. And apparently that will lead to the next or the future winery that's going to be built out there. Like I said, good meeting. We commented that to her. And then on my way back, I was mentioning to Carmen and the teacher that has these concerns is going to go ahead and send me an email, which I will then forward to Supervisor Lopez. The kindergarten wing at La Gloria School, she has documented historically how many cancer that the teachers have been developing. And it's not just one, it's just not two, it's quite a few. She feels that because that is probably the oldest building in the school district, that there might be lead in the pipes. I'm positive there's asbestos in the flooring. And who knows what else is out there. So it was suggested that she send those concerns to me, and then I will forward that to Supervisor Lopez, because we really should take a look at that. Like I said, it's when my wife started commenting, I'm like, I didn't. Oh, that's right, she did. Oh, yeah, that's right, she did. And it's unfortunately it's all female teachers, mostly they're kindergarten teachers, and it's been everything from breast cancer to ovarian cancer. So it's not just one; it's a number of them. And it seems like there's a cluster in that particular, and it's only in the kindergarten wing. The rest are portables. So scary, really is scary. And Carmen was saying that shortly before she left the health department, that she was kind of seeing this cluster thing going on in the valley. And, you know, we are live in a valley where there's a lot of chemicals that are being sprayed, injected, moved. So scary times. I mean, I still love my little town, and you know, I'm still hoping for that 103-year age that Miss Hampton was able to reach, my next door neighbor. My wife says, no, that's way too old, but I think, oh, I don't know, it might be cool to last that long, you know? It's kind of amazing, you know, because they talk about the blue zones, and I kind of look around my neighborhood and how many people really have reached a very mature and old age. Ben Jaime, you know, it's just incredible, the age differences. But then I also hear about these youth cancers and teacher cancers, and it's kind of scary, kind of really scary. So that was it. I just want to wish against everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And then I do want to mention that on the 16th of December, I will go in for the next eye operation of, I hope will be the last. I doubt it, but I'm hoping. The doctors indicated that I will become even, what side I have, I'll even lose more of that, because it's kind of a unique operation. I had never really heard of it, but basically it's they're kind of, for lack of better terms, they're going to smooth the surface of my eye, I believe with a laser, and then they're going to put a membrane that literally will adhere to my cornea, so that eventually, once that's all said and done, then I should be able to gain some sight with contact lenses. I'm praying and hoping, because it's gotten to the point from here to there, I cannot see Mary, I cannot see Marisol. And it just keeps going down. So like I told you, I appreciate all of your support. And trust me when I tell you that I read this over and over, but sometimes it just doesn't sink in. And so I thank you for your support this evening. Those are my comments, and we'll move on to the city manager's report.
I just have a few reminders of things to put on your calendar. So Friday, actually, before I forget, is the groundbreaking of the industrial wastewater treatment plant too. So I'll see you all there, hopefully 9:30.
That is it, Catherine.
Correct.
Catherine, correct?
Yes.
Because I was thinking it was going to be all the way out at the wastewater treatment plant.
Catherine, what's the actual address?
So 180
Patrick?
Catherine, it's right across from the driveway to Braga Fresh.
Great. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll get you the exact address and any other information.
Starts at 9.
9:30.
Oh, 9:30.
9:30.
Okay. Okay.
This Friday, 9:30. I'll send another email. I know, I'll send it to you via text. I know you're having some issues with your email, so good reminder. Actually, I just also want to thank Supervisor Lopez. On December 3rd, we will be receiving a check from RCRC at the Board of Supervisors meeting. It will be presented to the council for the communities, the Dennis Capera Community Center. These are proceeds from an auction that they hold at their annual dinner. And City of Gonzales was selected as one of the recipients to get some funds. So thank you to Supervisor Lopez for keeping us in mind when those opportunities arise. So another important date for your calendar is the 7th of December. It's our annual Holiday Lights event. That is going to be starting at 4:30 down 4th Street. That goes 4:30 to 7. On the 14th of December, we have our Parade of Lights that is going to start at 6 p.m. We are shifting the route on that, keeping it more in the downtown area, just to reduce issues on Fifth Street and Bridge, really. And so we have some fun things lined up for that. Lineup starts at 5 o'clock, and it's important to register if you want to participate. Otherwise, Chief Musio is going to cut you off if you don't register in time. So make sure you register before the deadline. And we're actually bringing back the holiday yard decorating contest this year. So if anybody's interested in participating in that, registration closes on December 13th, and that should be fun. I just want to also mention real quick in regards to the water rebates program that Councilwoman Silva was referring to. There is a low-income program as well. So it's a senior program and a low-income program. So if you haven't done so yet, pick up those documents to see if you qualify. It is on a first come, first served basis. So the slots will run out quickly. So hopefully everybody who needs that program can apply as soon as possible. That's all I have. And I know Director Dobbins was going to share a little bit more.
So I just wanted to circle back on the letter that went to all residents regarding the water system that Public Works staff didn't quite follow the correct protocol for testing and reporting. That's an effort that will be redoubling our efforts on. And that's, I don't know if there's any questions from the council.
Should we be concerned that there was an issue? I mean, I read what it means and all of that, but I think we were all kind of taken aback.
Yep.
That we didn't know about it.
Okay.
And that's kind of what bothered, at least me. I can't
Yep.
speak for the rest of the council.
It bothered me.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Through the chair, I just wanted to, we didn't report out on the closed session, which we have to do after we come back from closed session. And so I will just report that the council conferred with legal counsel over the exposure to potential litigation, provided direction, and no other reportable action was taken. And then I also just wanted to mention for the public that during public comment, the council has very limited and restricted ability to actually respond to comments that are received. And the same thing goes for staff. That's primarily for the public to actually make a statement. And in most cases, there'll either be direction to staff to respond to it or something other, a notation that the comment was received and so forth. But there's not a give and take. And I want to make sure that and one of the things that happened tonight was a discussion about an incident that had occurred, and that incident is still the subject of an investigation. We would never be discussing that investigation in public. So I just want to make sure that the public understands that when the council doesn't respond to comments that we receive or staff doesn't respond, doesn't mean we agree with the speaker. It just means that we have a limited ability to respond, and we respond in a different manner, in completion of an investigation, follow-up work on an agenda, and so forth and so on. And my recommendation is going to be that we actually add some language to the public notice provision on the agenda that clearly indicates to folks that are making the comment that in most cases the council and or staff will be unable to respond to the comments that they make. So I know they have to do that in some of the other places that I work, and I think it's a good idea since we're receiving a lot of comment that are obviously there's room for disagreement. So I want to make sure that the public understands that's what's going on.
Good enough? Yes. If we had kind of discussed briefly about shortening the comment period.
That'll be on the next agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
I like that. Dual. All in favor signify by saying aye. We stand adjourned.